start, I just want to let everyone know, wow, those aren't going to work. This meeting is being transmitted, audio recorded and video recorded. All votes will be conducted via roll call vote. No. And attendees via Zoom must use their real names for accurate minutes. It also helps to deter Zoom bombers. I will recognize participants when it's their turn to speak. In-person participants, then Zoom attendees. And a reminder to everyone to mute when you're not speaking so that we can avoid cross chatter. Okay. Or anything that you don't want to be heard being recorded. Okay. So I'm going to call to order the regular monthly Zoning Board of Appeals hearing. Today is May 9th and it is 1:14. Would someone make a motion to approve the agenda as, okay, Michael makes that motion.
Second.
Oh, Elisa got it in there. She was just
Even better.
Are any of our members on Zoom?
Just Mark
Just
Poor
Mark.
is on Zoom.
Okay. Okay. So we'll just do roll call vote for that approval for the agenda. Michael O'Mara?
Here.
You just have to say aye.
Aye.
Because we don't have to do that here anymore. Elisa Allen?
Aye.
John Brescher?
Aye.
Joe Marklinger?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Okay. And then for approval of the minutes,
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. On my staff report, I didn't reflect the proper way that the agenda was set. So next up is public comment.
oh, you're right, I'm sorry. I had written that in. Okay, so next, public comment. Is there anyone in the audience or anyone on Zoom that wished to give a statement of public comment on a matter of public interest, to bring that to the zoning board's attention? And it's a matter that's not related to an agenda item. Okay, and I'm going to give a limit of 3 minutes to each speaker, please. Okay, if you could just identify yourself for the microphone, for the recording.
Please speak clear into the microphone for minutes.
I'm Jocelyn Urban, 51 Cliff Road. I am here today to address the way the ZBA notifies abutters of neighborhood projects, specifically 2 Cabot Lane, application 2123 for Carl and Sharon Nielsen. It turns out that I and at least 23 of my neighbors did not receive the December 19th, 2023 letter noticing the January 11th, 2024 ZBA meeting at which application 2123 would be discussed. All of us, however, did receive the March 26, 2024 ZBA letter notifying us of the decision to approve the application. If both letters were sent to abutters as is required, it is impossible that no one received the first letter, but everyone received the second letter. As ZBA states in its March 26, 2024 letter, the application received no written or oral opposition from abutters. The reason for no opposition to the application is that no abutters received the December 19th, 2023 letter and therefore did not know the meeting was taking place. Had we all received it, there would have been opposition and comments, as 2A Cabot is a non-conforming building as to the setbacks, and the renovations proposed and approved are both extensive and intrusive. The property lines of 2A Cabot touch 5 abutters. Perhaps ZBA should consider sending legal notices via certified mail with return receipt. That ensures you have proof of sending, proof of delivery and receipt, as well as online tracking, and you also know who did not receive the letter as it will be returned to you. ZBA decisions affect neighborhoods, property, and property values. It is our right to have input into the decisions that are made. I am respectfully requesting that ZBA consider a special meeting for application 2123 so that ZBA can hear what we all would have said had we been properly notified, as is required by law. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Peter Leventi, 55 Cliff Road, with reference to the same issue that Jocelyn Urban just addressed. I want to say that with regard to the notifications, we also never received notification of this property being turned into a condominium. In a one-family zone, it is now a multiple ownership property. This condominium system basically allows subdivision of a property that is not otherwise subdividable as it doesn't have enough ground. Again, notification of this turning the property from a one family into a condominium should have been provided to the abutters and neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment in the audience? Seeing none, is there anyone with their hand up on Zoom?
Yes, we have Ann Newton with her hand up on Zoom, and Ann, you have the floor. Please unmute.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I am wholeheartedly reiterating what Peter and Jocelyn said. And I live at 5 Nantucket Avenue, and I implore you to reopen the case on 2A Cabot so that you can hear neighborhood voices. And as I understand it, you depend on neighborhood voices to make informed decisions. And I've been the one counting up the number of neighbors who never received the abutters letter. And it's really 27. We have 24 that are ready to put their names down, and 3 more who didn't want to get involved but said they never got the letter. But most importantly, we've not found anybody who received the abutters letter. And this is a deeply, deeply controversial renovation. So the process, it seems to me, the process is really broke down on your end. Maybe they didn't get mailed or the post office messed it up, but we as the neighbors get really penalized here. And we're told that we have no recourse, which is really, really upsetting. And when you use kind of antiquated communication processes that break down, and then you're implacable about responding to it when it breaks down, you just risk pitting neighbor against neighbor and neighbor against town. So please do the right thing and at least listen to our voices before you make a final decision. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else who had public comment?
No, no more hands are raised.
Okay. Thank you for your input. Moving on, we have the approval of the minutes from April 11th, 2024 and April 25th, 2024.
I'd like to ask a quick question
Sure.
based on what they just
Well,
said.
they can't, it's just for public comment. It's
Oh,
not for
just
us-
public comment.
Yeah, it's not for us
I
to
can't-
say anything about. I just had on page 9 in the packet, I don't know which page that is in the minutes, but it was under new business 0324, where it says, under my name, it says that I argued that conditioning this specific portion to halt and restart after Labor Day would be detrimental to the project. I don't know that I argued it because I wasn't, like, obviously I'm not presenting, but I think I suggested that conditioning the project to halt and restart would be detrimental. Just because as I remember for this one, it was a bigger project and that did not require relief. So anyway, I'd just like to change the word argued to suggested. Argued is more the applicant's representative's descriptor. And then the second bullet point under me says, I stressed that continuous work without interruption aligns better. I think I just, again, suggested instead of, again, I'm not the advocate for that applicant, so I wouldn't be, acting in that way. So I'd just like to make those 2 changes. And then on page 11, there were just some typos that I can show you. They're not, one was like under where it talks about the zoning code, It just says instead of like 139.7 C7, it's just 1397 C7. So it just needs to have the appropriate punctuation and and then the last one that says establishes a condition prohibiting no exterior, I think we just say no exterior construction work between Memorial Day and Labor Day, because that's just our standard. We're not established. And it says to minimize disruption to the tourist season. I don't think we've ever said that.
No.
And I can show you like, I marked it up if you want. And
If you
then-
want to hand me your copy at the end, I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
take that, but I've also made some notes on your comments.
And then on page 13, and it doesn't matter to me, it's just for consistency on which way we do it. And I think if someone was pulling the minutes, it is helpful to see the conditions listed like they are on page 11 for that other application. So on page 13, it just says, under McCarthy, provided a summary of the conditions set for the pool installation and associated activities. I think if we're listing them under, like for the other applications, if we listed the conditions, I think it makes sense to list them for this. And the pool ones are pretty standard anyway, so.
Yeah.
Especially in Nantucket.
Yeah, I think, so just like, you know, obviously someone can go back and listen to the tape and whatever, but I think for conditions, like, it's easier if those are listed in the minutes. I think that's
And I'll
worthwhile.
relay this to the minutes taker.
Yeah.
You know, I
She's
don't,
still learning, it's fine.
and I don't remember the video off the top of my head, but I do remember you reciting certain conditions for certain matters. So I don't know if she was truly following just the conversation when she did the minutes.
Yeah, which,
And I'll go over it with her.
Okay.
Thank you.
Me, actually.
you took the minutes?
No, that requested that,
Yeah,
the list of conditions.
yeah, I think it's
that-
helpful.
that We then did 4 of these in Nantucket
Yeah,
in the last year. So
yeah. I just think it'll be easy for consistency. Anybody else have any comments or questions on the minutes? No, okay. But otherwise, I thought, you know, they look good, just those minor things. Okay, so we can move on to new business. The application is 10-24 C Days LLC, 27 Baxter Road. Attorney Arthur Reed is presenting. Arthur, you have the floor.
You ready?
Yep.
Good afternoon. Attorney Arthur Reed representing the applicant in this matter. This was before the Board of Appeals in 2022 for the purpose, this is a non-conforming, pre-existing non-conforming house out in Sconset. In 2022, the placing of a new foundation under the house was approved by special permit. And it's non-conforming with regard to various setbacks. We now have a further proposal to do some tweaks to the project, which would include constructing some stairs on the northerly side of the house within the setback, but not as close to the lot line as the existing portion of the house that it would be adjacent to. And those are basement stairs, so they'd be below grade. And to raise the height of the front part of the structure by 1.5 feet. It will still be well under the maximum 30 feet height limit, so there's no issue of exceeding the height that's permitted, but it does include areas within the front and northerly side yard setback area. And the third thing that we're doing is adding a deck, which will be entirely outside the setbacks. But because it's a structure that is non-conforming, we have to include that in the relief that we're seeking. Art Gasparo, the engineer surveyor for the project, is here with me if there are any questions on that. I've reviewed the staff report, and the proposed conditions that are contained in it are all acceptable to us. We believe that this will have no impact on the neighborhood, so I think you can easily make the finding that this will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing nonconformities. The footprint of the house itself is not being changed. It's just the elevation, a portion of the house, and the stairs, the basement stairs that are being added. And that's all we have, subject to your questions and comments.
Okay. Anyone on the board? John, you look like you might have a question.
I do have a question. Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Arthur. Is there any movement on acquiring the parcel B4 on the plan, or is this a land court?
It's not,
Paper
this is
Street.
not land court property. The other side of the road is land court. And I know we had reached out at one point to the council for the owner, which I think has changed hands, of the property to the north. We actually will probably bringing to a head, if we can, the whole issue. The problem of that is that there will need to be easements created within the area because the driveway entrance comes in over the, partially over a portion of the yard sale parcels that would go with the other lot. So that's all going to have to be worked out. And I suspect we're probably going to have to wait for the other side to get through the land court in order to work that out. But for now, that's where it is. It's certainly
Okay.
ultimately intended to be a yard sale situation, but like many of those, it's not exactly
Understood.
galloping to the finish line.
Yeah, thank you. I was just curious.
Joe, did you have any questions? No,
I think it's
none?
fine.
Okay. Michael?
I think I'm okay. I just have one question regarding the driveway. How long has it been on those two parcels?
As far as we know, as long as we know, it's been there in that location.
And you said it's not land courted.
The other side is land courted. This side, our side, is not land courted.
How old is the house?
Old.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Elisa, do you have any questions?
No.
No. Okay. I don't either. So would someone like to make a motion that, oh yeah, thank you. Sorry, and I have that listed right here. Does anyone in the audience have anything that they wanted to add to this application? No. Anyone on Zoom?
No, there are no hands raised.
Okay, and there's no mail on this one, right?
No, I did not receive any abutters notifications on this.
Okay. So talking about closing the public hearing will we close the public hearing now and then discuss a motion, since this is a new process that we're adding into our meetings to,
Yes, we should close the public hearing prior to voting on the merits of an application.
so before we take the motion, before I entertain a motion. Okay, so then and we make a motion to close the public hearing. Okay, so would someone present a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, so John and Elisa. Okay, so roll call vote. John,
Aye.
Elisa,
Aye.
Michael, Joe,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Okay. So then would someone care to make a motion to approve the relief as requested and finding that granting the proposed relief pursuant to bylaw section 139, section 33A, 1A is consistent with the finding that the proposed alterations are not substantially more detrimental than the pre-existing non-conforming structure to the neighborhood and are within the spirit and intent of the bylaw? And we could discuss conditions if anyone has anything in addition to the proposed alterations and expansion shall be in substantial compliance with the proposed condition shown upon Exhibit A, which is page 21 in our packet. The project shall be completed in substantial conformity with the plans approved in connection with the certificate of appropriateness number HDC 2023-119439. There shall be no exterior construction allowed between Memorial Day and Labor Day of any given year for the work contemplated herein, and there shall be no further alteration or expansion of the structure without further relief from this board.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All right, so Lisa made the motion and John seconds. When I call your name, if you're in favor, aye, not in favor, nay. Elisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Michael,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and myself, aye. So that motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So that is it for new business. We have no old business continued over, so we are moving on to other business, which the first one is ZBA file number 2323, William A. Murphy, trustee of 89 Easton Street Nominee Trust, 89 Easton Street, for a construction progress update. We have Paul Santos presenting. Okay.
Thank you. On behalf of the property owner, William Murphy, Paul Santos with Nantucket Surveyors. Also, Carl Clark, who is the general contractor for the project, and Joe Paul is the project's architect. So we just wanted to kind of give you an update of where the construction stands. We are obviously up against a Memorial Day provision that's typical within the ZBA decision. I don't have to read it to you, it's your standard Memorial Day. So the site that you see on the screen there is the property as it stands today. Just to refresh your memory, this was 89 Easton Street. It's at the intersection of Cliff Road in Easton, adjacent to the Nantucket Hotel. The plan here was to elevate the building, move it to the north and west, I believe, a minimal amount to get some distance off of North Avenue. So that building you see it today is in its position with regard to its horizontal location. It is not in its position with regard to its vertical location, as right now it's elevated higher than it eventually will be. Eventually that will be dropped down onto a full foundation, and the first floor and the peak elevation of the building will be the exact same as it was before the work was started. So what you see there today, it's protected by the construction fencing. Prior to Memorial Day, that fencing will be moved back onto, in towards the lot, and the sidewalks and access around the property will be replaced. So you'll have full access to both sidewalks, which are currently blocked now with a proper permit from the town. And that will be replaced. The foundation work, as it stands right now, would not be completed prior to the Memorial Day deadline. But again, the property, the fencing would be moved, the sidewalks would be accessible, and then the remainder of the fence would be, it would be blocked and screened off. So what we are here today is to bring you up to date. That's where we stand. And then to discuss whether there's any option to do a limited amount of work after the Memorial Day on the foundation component to try to complete the foundation. And that would involve potentially going into June on a limited basis, no weekends. And then once that building is dropped down, obviously, no exterior work would be completed as per the original permit. Carl is here, Joe is here, and that's essentially where we're at. I guess the question is whether or not there's any vehicle or means to which to do some work on that with regard to the foundation after the Memorial Day deadline. If the answer to that is no, again, sidewalk work is done and the site is fenced and secured, and then we'll come back at this in the fall to complete the project.
John, I see you have a comment.
I do have a question through you, Madam Chair. Paul, as it stands now, is this a safety hazard? I mean, it may sound obvious, but is this come after Memorial Day? is Paul Murphy going to have an issue here, or was the homeowner going to have a fair amount of liability if the foundation work is not complete?
I defer to, Carl is here, so Carl, if you kind of stand up and just let your name know, let Carl know. I mean, the site would be secured and fenced, and it is stable.
So you just need to just go to the microphone, either one, and it's fine, Paul, just so your name is on.
Carl Clark, contractor for the project. Yeah, we've made every effort to fence it in and make it as safe as possible, security-wise, which, as you can see, we were able to achieve for the most part. My feeling would be, it being so central over the course of the summer, it would be tough to make it 100% secure. You know, it would be, our hope would be to get it to the point where it'd be back on the foundation, to make it 100% safe.
Thank you.
How much time do you think you would need to get to that point?
I think the thoughts are to get to, foundation would be complete for June 15th. And I think to make it 100%, to put the sidewalk back together and for Toscana to get it backfilled properly, we would probably need another week to 10 days past that. I'd be confident that everything would be put back together and by July 1.
Okay, Michael.
If I could just add, and Carl, correct me if I'm wrong, but even if that was the case, the commitment would still be to have the sidewalk and the fence moved prior to Memorial Day.
Yes.
Okay. Michael, you have a question?
After the fencing gets moved, is there going to be lighting on that fence?
There is lighting right now, just for our own peace of mind, but it can be if that's what the recommendation.
Wouldn't you recommend it?
Yes, I would. Yeah, and to get the pavement back
Yeah,
clean and safe.
especially if there's voids in the sidewalk,
Yeah. And,
soil missing.
I believe it's the owner's intent to completely replace the sidewalk ultimately once the exterior work is complete.
Elisa? Oh, sorry, you done?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a few questions. So regardless of whether we give you the extension today or not, the walkway in front of and then up Cliff Road will be fully accessible and paved. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. And then you will or will not put that fence back up whether we give you approval or not on the, inside of the property?
So, yes.
Okay, I think that's important to have that wall up through the summer. I hate
They're
to
going
say
to
it.
move it
Oh,
in.
yeah. they're
Move
gonna
it in.
Yeah.
And then the next question is, so you're saying that you are gonna pour the foundation, set this back down on the foundation and backfill, and you want to do all three of those. Are there footings in?
The mat slab is being set up right now, so the footing is being set up right now.
Okay,
Now, not poured right now, but it's being set up.
okay. So we've got footings, strip those forms, then we got forms for the foundation, strip those forms, you pour, strip those forms, and then set it back down. Is there any way that that could be done by, when do kids get out of school? Like, I would say June 15th. Is there any way that that thing can be put back on its foundation and backfilled before June 15th?
I think looking at things, the foundation will be poured before June 15th. Just Toscana getting it back on the
Foundation?
foundation and backfilled might it might require another week to 10 days.
So today's May 9th. So in 6 weeks, I mean, I would like to see you get it done by June 15th.
That is the push, and progress down there has been pretty consistent, but just as the process was a lot involved.
So it would be around the 25th,
Of June.
yeah, that you'd be out of there.
That's a Tuesday. that's,
I
Yeah.
just, I don't think in other business, we're not voting to give an extension.
So
We're
I'd-
just getting an update.
I'd-
So I
I'd-
think if
yeah.
you were going to even talk about an extension, we'd have to notice it, but then you're I don't know what the deadline is for filing for the June meeting.
Technically, Monday, I have to get the legal ad out. It has to be to the Inky Mirror by this following
And
Monday.
Memorial Day is, feels early this year to me.
It
Yeah.
is.
So you'd have that time period where you'd
it's
not be
May
able to work.
24th.
Yeah.
The end of the day, Friday, May 24th. What could be done?
Wait, hold on
Oh,
a
sorry.
second, let me finish with that thought. So, but is there any way that we could, I think we could, and I kind of think this is where you were going with the safety issue for the larger community. Is there any way we could add them to the special meeting that we're doing June 3rd?
Definitely. I think we could add them on first. With it, it would be a new file number, so I think it would have to be advertised. That's my only question. Procedurally, we have a decision that's been submitted that has conditions on it. So in order to eliminate or change those conditions, it requires a public hearing.
But we've done this before, right? Haven't we?
Yeah, but I
Under
think we opened up
did we do it under an emergency thing because it was
For
a
safety
safety
purposes?
issue?
That's what I was getting at.
So I feel like, because it's not, we're not really eliminating the condition on it, right? Because for any given year, they're not supposed, we say there's no whatever. But I think it ends up being, it's like not a modification, but a
Technical amendment of some sort?
something, because we have done this before. I feel like we did it, I don't know, a few years ago. We definitely did it in town somewhere where we said they had like an extra 6 weeks to get it done.
And I thought it was because, I wasn't sitting on it, but I thought it was because of a safety issue.
Yeah.
That either, I don't know if it was Alan Knoll or Steve, or if it was Paul Murphy, whomever. Basically, it was like, it is a health and safety hazard having this open hole or this. I mean, this
Yeah,
is
whatever it
detriment to the public.
was.
That
So you
be
may want to,
The building official may have the power to extend that on a safety
Maybe-
matter.
I think we had to vote on it, but.
Okay.
Why don't we know we can't make a decision today. It seems like at least 3 of us remember us doing this in the past, or John, you weren't on the board then, but 2 of us who were sitting. And I think if we have this, if the building commissioner also thinks that this would be an instance where it would make more sense. I also think, you're right next to the Nantucket Hotel. You've got people coming and going. They do like their little kids camp, and they've got tons of, I don't know, I just think it's ripe for getting it off of,
I mean, I fully agree. I just procedurally is
Procedurally,
what I
yeah.
question.
so we can't grant it in this other business section, but why don't we, Billy, why don't you figure out what needs to happen so we can do that?
Is the deadline for what's the deadline for the?
Here's
that
the,
already passed? What are we in now? May?
yeah,
Was the
technically,
deadline for the June meeting passed?
it did, but I
have you
mean,
posted
I haven't submitted the legal ad,
like to
so
make
I
a
could
comment
still
about the
get you
timeline.
into the legal ad.
Yeah, so.
And I mean, I know what we're talking about
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
willing to do an
I could easily
application,
get you into the
butters, get
legal
everything
ad.
tomorrow if you.
Yeah, you may not have to do all
Yeah,
that,
I'm
so
just
let's,
saying, if that's the case, or Monday, I mean, I can.
Yeah.
whatever, If that's the avenue you have to take, I'll do whatever way I have to do.
I'm gonna be running this by my
Yeah,
superiors
so
to try to figure out what's the right
yeah.
road
And-
to take.
And I guess, had we known, not that any fault on anyone, but if we had known that it was gonna be an update with a request, we might have we would have figured that out before. But I don't think you've missed the opportunity. I think we just need to figure out procedurally how to get you there and meet that standard. And you have a comment about the timeline.
I do. I don't think it is in the best interest, if we are planning on giving any kind of extension, to make them wait until June 3rd for an answer.
No, just, we would have to be, well, we could do a special meeting maybe if we had to, but let's figure out how we have to do it and what the requirements are for timing, and then we can figure out.
In terms of time constraints, in terms of, the way these items need to be noticed, the legal ad would have to run for a minimum of 2 weeks if it's going to be a new business item.
Yeah.
But that being said, I can easily set up a Zoom meeting
Yeah,
that we could all, it doesn't even have to be in person. It could just be Zoom so we could handle this one item
Yeah.
and deal with it appropriately.
I think it's
I don't,
time
for some
sensitive,
reason,
safety
I think,
sensitive.
yeah, for some reason, I don't think
That
it
we'd
has
have
to
to
be a full.
advertise.
I don't know if we have to advertise, but I don't believe it's like a full public hearing. But
Okay.
but I could be wrong, so let's figure out
I need to look into
procedurally
that,
how we
yeah.
need to do it.
You could also potentially read the no exterior construction to mean that's the building exterior construction. I guess we're below grade doing the foundation, that's a stretch, but I'm just,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just, it does say there should be no exterior construction or hardscaping between Memorial Day and Labor Day. But it sounds like will have a.
Well, bobcats are outside, so that's exterior.
Yeah, well, we'll have, let's try to do it. Let's figure out what the avenues are, and then we'll choose
All right,
the,
then whatever you need, like I said,
best
if you need
one.
an application with a butter list, whatever, just, we'll do it.
Okay. I need to reach out to Leslie, who's out of the country right now.
oh, that's
but
right.
I might just throw you in on the legal ad, and if you guys aren't part of the next agenda, so be it.
Yeah, that's probably a smart thing to do.
That's what I'm
just-
planning on.
yeah.
You're just gonna have a new ZBA number to reflect the potential modified special permit request.
Okay.
Great, and to Susan's comments, I know, like, going back even further, like, Michael might remember it and Susan will, but remember when we tore up Broad Street that one year, we had the sewer project on Broad Street, we had 21 Broad, we had Graydon House, we had, I know a number of those kind of got we got extended a little bit on those ones, because there was, I mean, they were issues with Stroll, they were issues in Memorial Day, but that one year when we pretty much ripped up Broad Street and redid everything was a similar. All right, thank you very much. We
And
appreciate
I
it.
think typically we do have that lull right after Memorial Day until about like that third week in June, June 21st, 22nd.
Like when kids get out of
Yeah,
school.
so I think if, it's,
Yeah, at least one or two is one of the kids asked.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so,
I thought it might be worth saying too.
Joe,
that-
can you just say your name for the
Yeah, sorry,
minutes?
Joe Paul for the applicant, the architect, that there have been countless site meetings on this particular project since we got your approval with Toscana and McCardle and with Von Campen and the foundation guy, and lots of people on site, and everybody talking about who's going next and how's this all going to be coordinated. So it's been a education process for us in terms of how much time are we actually going to need, and where are we going to be around, not even at Memorial Day, where are we going to be a month before Memorial Day so that we can come in here and talk to the board. So, and we were there this morning just to see where we're at. So we've been told that early to mid-June would be good, but I think a little bit of extra time would be a conservative approach, and we're very close to it just being concrete work at this point. I mean, all of the steel sheeting is in, all that's gonna stay, so I think a lot of the heavy work is completed, other than the lowering of the house. I just wanted to mention that to the board, that, we're, I think, as concerned as you when we first came in here, that this is gonna be super tight, and we're gonna need to make sure it works. It's been, I think, a very efficient process for the most part. There've been a few hiccups that have attenuated the time that we really couldn't work around, but there's been a lot of people trying to figure out how to get it done as fast as possible and as safely as possible.
Well, we
Thank
definitely
you.
appreciate
Thank you for your
that.
consideration.
Yep. Okay, so Billy will be in touch, and we'll figure out the next steps. Okay, thanks for the update, guys. Okay, so the next item is ZBA file 0322, which is a 930 acres dormitory update. The applicant submitted an update as required per discussion at the December ZBA meeting. We got that email last week with the update. The applicant has complied with all of the requests, which I'm happy about. Did anyone have anything else from that report that they thought we should revisit? No.
No, I just wanted to reiterate, the abutters had sent in,
Yeah.
there was some communication with the abutters that they seemed to be pleased by the changes. And also, we've been updated with there's two managers as there's two sides of the structure. So we have all of the contact information now.
Good, and with summer coming and they're gonna be in full use, we'll see how they get through the summer. Hopefully, it'll all work out. Okay, so maybe we'll hear from them again, but hopefully it's all good. I'm surprised Sarah's not here today. No, I'm just teasing her poor voice last night. Oh, my God.
She did reach out to me to see if she needed to be
No.
here, and I told her I did not think it was necessary. It was just an update to
Yeah,
provide.
she should be drinking hot tea like all day, poor girl. Okay, so just in the last two things we have this ZBA special meeting, Monday, June 3rd, here in person and 1 PM here and via Zoom, and that is for the remand.
Via Zoom only?
No, in person and via Zoom, sorry. Sorry, I'm trying to talk into my microphone, not turn my back to you. Yeah, so 1 PM, and that's for the STR remand hearing, the start of that. And then we have our regularly scheduled June meeting, Thursday, June 13th at 1 PM in person and via Zoom.
Is there a cutoff for that June 3rd meeting, like time-wise?
I assume it's going to be 5 o'clock for a cutoff. But I don't know that anyone's using the room, and if we don't have anyone using the room, we don't necessarily have a cutoff unless we don't have a quorum. So if you are only available for a few hours that day, please let me know.
Okay,
I am only available for a few hours.
Yeah, I
just-
think I am only available for a few hours that day as well.
so till like 3 o'clock, we think, 3 or 4:30? Usually
sounds fair.
we say, so usually our meetings are like 1 to 4:30 is what I have blocked off, and then when I get the agenda, I can kind of call that in, so.
If you wouldn't mind, maybe send me some emails to say what your availability is that day, and I can come up with a hard stop time that I can run by, because we have town
And that would
council
actually be
coming.
good too, because then we can understand, for everyone, including the council for the Grapes, the council for Ward, like whoever, and town council, so that everyone understands how much we think we're gonna get through as well. So that would be helpful.
Do we want to just maybe say till 4 PM on that day for now, or
I think till 4 PM is good, because I think if we continue on, what did we just say? Sorry, did you say 4? If we continue, you get brain drag after a while.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an important first meeting where people are going to want to be presenting, and I want to be able to absorb it. So then we can think about maybe how long each person gets or whatever. So,
And that's gonna be in this room for, okay.
I read something in John's material that he sent out about the rules for speaking.
John,
And I
who?
thought, excuse me, Billy Satt, sorry. And I'm pretty sure it says in there 3 minutes per person.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't mean for the, 3 minutes per person for comment. I think we could actually limit it to 2, but I don't even know that we're gonna get there. I think those first meetings is probably gonna be town council presenting, and then however that goes, but we'll.
yeah, I'd imagine we'll need to hear from both parties before
Yeah.
we get into any sort of public
I
comment.
think public comment will be either the second or third meeting, depending on how it goes, so,
All right, I just sent Billy an email. My availability will be from 1 to 4 that day. I'm
perfect.
sorry, I have a huge house that I'm installing that day.
Yikes.
And I would never have planned it if it was on like a regularly scheduled
Yeah.
ZBA meeting day, but I can't, I have movers, I have trucks.
Yep.
I have people.
Yep. Okay, so that,
And
if no one has any other scheduling things to discuss, then we are,
I don't have a scheduling, but I have a procedural question
sure.
about ZBA and how it works, because I get approached by certain people, like I'm on a dog walk and someone will come up to me and say, hey, something about the ZBA, what, and we will use the Cabot Lane as an example. What is the procedure with notifying abutters? Just reiterate it to me. I know, just procedurally, I need to have that on the tip of my tongue.
So we follow Mass General Law for the procedure behind notifying abutters, which requires that abutters notifications are sent in a reasonable time manner. There's no date set. Certified is not required. So what happens is, for instance, our next meeting is June 13th. We just had the deadline for that meeting this past Monday. The reason I do that is because I need time now to get the legal ad together. That goes to the Inky Mirror, which will go in next Thursday's paper and the following Thursday's paper. Once I have the legal ad together, I basically regurgitate each matter from the legal ad, and that's what's put down for the abutters notifications.
Okay, and the responsibility of notifying abutters is the applicant.
We actually, the ZBA, they give us the labels to send out. So we handle it internally, the abutters notifications.
The applicant gives you the abutters notification, which is generated from the.
No, no, no.
No.
The applicant gets the list of abutters
Yes, from.
from the town.
Yeah.
And then they make the labels and give them to Billy, and then Billy puts together all the notices.
Now
and-
I will say, I don't personally do the mailing. I have a lot of other duties that I handle in there, and for me to be, spinning my wheels, folding paper and putting it in envelopes is probably not the best use of my time. So I do have the
When I said,
same,
yeah, I meant
the same admin does every mailing for me. I follow the same procedure every single time.
Okay, I'm just recalling like the old days when I was a secretary and had to do that stuff. So there is no, nothing they have to sign, it's not a registered, it's not any type of mailing, it's just a mailing.
It's just a mailing, and part of that, so abutters notifications are done threefold.
Yep.
So you have the abutters notice that goes out. We have to advertise in a local publication for a minimum of 2 weeks prior to the meeting.
Yep.
Has to be posted lawfully on the website, the agenda. So there are a number of ways. I mean, I don't work for the USPS, and I don't want to trash them, but I live on Nantucket, so I know how reliable they can be at times.
I'm asking the question because I find it very curious that none of the abutters were notified, or saying they were not notified for this, just this one lump
Believe me, it's an odd one to me
of
too.
people, and I'm wondering procedurally what may have happened. I just need to know because people do, I don't know if they approach the rest of the board personally, but on a dog walk recently, somebody was like asking questions about the procedure, and I didn't know exactly.
I don't want to venture guesses here, but if any of you want to come by the office, I have a stack of all the mail that I get sent back to me, whether it was an incorrect address or forwarding error or what have you. I haven't received a single piece of mail from that. Furthermore, I just received 2 sendbacks from November 13th, yesterday, November 13th, 2023.
Wow.
So it wouldn't, if I received these a year from now, I might call a public meeting to, fly this up the flagpole, because I have no bias towards it. I
just want to know procedure.
Yeah, I follow the exact same procedure every single time, and
Yes.
it wouldn't shock me if I get a stack back from the USPS at some point in time.
But I'm just wondering where along the line the breakdown happened and why it's so specifically these letters to these.
It could,
It's
I
not
mean,
unusual.
it's not unusual that, and I mean, I don't mean for us, I mean like a,
And I frankly don't understand, because back in the old days, we used to use certified
Right.
mail. However, right now, I don't see why it would be a burden for the applicant or the staff to do return receipt requesting. It's what, $3
It's about $6 a.
$6?
If we do,
I quit
so,
doing it.
so I do work with planning board as well, and we
Yeah.
do certified mailings with theirs, and that is a procedural matter that the planning board voted, or, just something that the staff undertook. It's $873 per abutter, which, I mean, price is price. I don't care about any of that
For certified?
for certified. My only,
There's only a certain amount of abutters, and then abutters of abutters, or no?
but there are three of us that work on planning board. Catherine Insero, Megan Trudell's a senior planner, and myself. I'm the only person that works on ZBA. And I feel like if we move to an abutter, certified abutters, I want to put more of the onus on the applicants because frankly, I don't care if they apply or what they want, it should be on them, not on me.
So, okay, so,
We split
so,
ourselves and bring in proof with the stamp from the.
yeah.
The applicant should do it.
So it sounds like that this may be the catalyst for us to add to a future agenda.
Yes, I would strongly suggest we put
voting.
this on an agenda.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
I see their frustration.
Yeah,
and
totally.
And I wonder where the breakdown was, and because there's no, proof of receipt,
I remember we used to
I
bring
could
in
see a lawsuit
the
happening.
return receipts. I think it was planning.
I will say,
Yeah,
it was, I have all the records that indicate that it was sent according to Mass General Law. So, I mean, I'm confident
Oh,
with
yeah.
how I handled the
I
situation.
don't think there's any fault on the part of the staff. I think there may be, there might have been an anomaly with the postal service or a bag of mail went missing, which we, right, wasn't it a couple Christmases ago? They like
the
found
post
a truck
office is
somewhere full.
horrible.
Yeah, so,
that return receipt, it makes
Yeah, yeah, then
everybody
you-
accountable, and it covers
Well, even if
us.
you got half of them back, you'd say, well,
yeah. So I think this is outside the scope of what was on our,
I felt it important to discuss it.
yeah,
I hope it's all right.
No, I
Madam-
think it's okay. I think we just need to put on a future agenda.
I'll mark it down to put it on June 13th under other
And
to
we-
discuss fully.
Can we also include perhaps revisiting the fee schedule if we're going to,
Sure.
and as silly as it sounds, I mean, I imagine advertising is costing more and more in the INM, and just to make sure that an application actually covers,
Yeah,
the
because
cost of
I
an
don't,
application
I
actually
don't
covers
think
your
it's
time.
changed in the entire time I've practiced out here.
Right, I mean,
Also, just from a simple, obviously certified mail is more
Yep.
intensive, so we got to
Yeah.
add the time
Yep.
for a
I-
staff member
that's-
to be
I think it's
handling that at minimum.
worth looking at
Applicants
altogether.
Handle that and hand in the proof, the receipts that
The-
you get for all.
The
Okay, so
problem
again,
is-
let's add it to an agenda
Yeah.
item
Okay.
for next time, so we can discuss and come to an agreement and vote on it and.
Oh, no.
No, it's okay. It's something, it's a good thing that, it's unfortunate what happened to the abutters of this particular application. However, it's, bringing a bigger conversation that, to light. So we can discuss it in more detail and get to a vote perhaps in June. Okay, so that is it for today, unless anyone has anything else? No, okay. Would someone make a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
And Elisa seconds. Okay, so I will do a roll call again. John,
Aye.
Elisa,
Aye.
Michael, Joe, and myself, aye. Okay, so meeting is adjourned. So we will see you all June 3rd. Okay, giddy up.